My name is Earl, legally changed that in 2015. Most popularly known as Treasure by friends, family, the streets. My pronouns are she, her, and sometimes bitch, depending on the day. I am a native of San Francisco, and my mother is a student of life, I like to say. She introduced me to life and how to live it fully and unapologetically. And honestly, is the best way to put it. And I'm grateful that I actually have some foundation and some base, because I needed it to get here. I definitely feel like the roles that were assigned to us, I didn't fit into the male ones. Girls play with Barbies, girls do hair, boys play with G.I. Joes, boys play football. I actually lean towards the Barbies, the dancing competitions, the double dutch. It's funny because it's not a story that I personally remember. It's a story that my mother told me, and she told me it because because I wanted these cowboy boots. And the idea about the boots is it was my first pair of high heels. And that's what I came to terms with as I got older, as I transitioned. She reminded me of just how important those boots were to me, and that she just had to get them. So that was my first time with fashion too, actually. Fashion was like one of my first loves. And my mother, and the beautiful thing about my mother is she catered to that. It's women like that when you let you know that you're not a mistake, because my mother, instead of making me play football, instead of making me play G.I. Joe, she bought me some boots. It was a start of affirming myself, and that's why I say indirectly teaching me how to be myself authentically. But those cowboy boots represented my click and my clack. Yes, I was bullied for being different. Children were calling me gay, adults was calling me gay, because not only was I visibly feminine, I was in the talent shows and I knew how to dance, doing all the girl dances, doing it better than the girls, doing the cheers, doing everything. So, you know, I had the opportunity to feel that and live in it, but at the end of the day, I know while I'm dancing with the girls, they calling me a fag and calling me gay. So it was like, I'm living this joy, and at the same time, I'm being punished for it. And it's always been like that. For one point, I kind of didn't want to be gay. I was like, y'all, I ain't having sex. I'm not having sex with nobody. You can't call me gay if I'm not having sex with no boy. How you know I'm gay? Regardless if I can snap my finger and roll my eyes. How you can't nobody call me gay? That came with a lot of shame. It was kind of scary. It was scary to feel some way but couldn't be that way, and I didn't really have examples of what a transsexual was or transgender was. So to feel like a woman but ignore that feeling was very painful, and for a while it made me feel as if I was a mistake to some degree. It was kind of harsh, but it was kind of beautiful, because the girls that I hung with, they made me feel normal to some degree. And I remember one time when I was younger, I let some girls wear my mother makeup. And girl, when she came home, I got in trouble for letting her paint her makeup. So she took it out on me, put on a red handkerchief, wrapped it in my head. She just painted my makeup on and asked me, do I want to be a girl? Do I want to be a girl? And at that time, I was just so afraid because I was in trouble. But if I can answer that question today, yeah, yes. I got through that through a lot of self-discovery. Like self-help books, I was reading every book, because I definitely was trying to figure out what was I feeling. Before I even transition becoming a woman, it was like even being gay, I didn't want to make the wrong steps. You know, my ode was to God and what His plan, what our sacred contract was. Because I was worried about Sodom and Gomorrah. Like my auntie once told me, I think the problem with Sodom and Gomorrah is that people were doing what they wanted to do, but they was doing it without God in their heart. They lost their relationship with God, and she was like, I think that's what made God upset. It wasn't what they were doing. It was just doing it without any care, any compassion, without any connection to the Lord. And so when I was like, well, I love the Lord, that was like, once I got that affirmation, healing really started to work for me. It really did. It was magical. It was magical because she didn't look like me, and I had never seen a girl who was fishy. I had really never seen a lot of transgenders in my neighborhood. I knew about gay boys. I didn't really see trans women. I knew how I felt Like, you know, I knew how I felt. In the way we met each other too. We met each other in a chat line where we were supposed to be looking for boys indirectly, her side of the world, my side of the world. But I definitely wanted to, and I was cross-dressing at the time, but I definitely wanted to, I wanted to build relationships outside of men in a sense. And me and her clicked on a chat line. It was tumultuous. I was introduced to another world of politics. I went from one world where it was black, gay, and straight. Then I came into this other world where it was black, straight, gay, pretty, clocky. It came with all these other layers. And I'm like, I was known, and so I had to I was rebirthed in a sense. Because I felt as if I had to relearn some things. I thought I just came into the game and I was, you know, here I am. But it was more so like, and it was some more work. It was some more work I had to do, and it beat some of the politics about what was pretty, what wasn't pretty, what was in our language, what was passable, what wasn't passable, and shit, what boys like and what boys don't like, and that came way later. But at the end of the day, it was like those things that made it tumultuous because I tried to start to challenge my self-worth. My value began to get challenged. I had never really had problems with how I looked. But for the first time in life, I was being challenged and presented with my insecurities about beauty and acceptability. And so I had to really learn my truth. My best friend, she gave me an opportunity in her house to live at her house, call a chat line, no tea, test my tea, wear her clothes. So she designed clothes, she had a wig. She gave me room to be free. And that was my first step into freedom. I was like a rebel, no tea, because I was like a baby raising herself, you know, because I really didn't know the gay culture, never been a part of a house, never been to a ball before. I was so hood in a sense. I was around a Ray girl that all my friends were straight, and so I really wasn't connected to the rainbow community, as I like to call it. When I got my own place in the Tenderloin, that's when I really it gave me the opportunity and the freedom and permission to live authentically, live according to me. I felt like I did what everybody wanted me to do. I went to school, I worked, I had my cars. I did it all. I did it. Mama, you can't say I didn't graduate college. Mama, you can't say I did it all. I'm your firstborn and I did it all. But it was time for me to do it all for me. It was healing because me and these girls, whether we knew it or not, we were all holding hands, walking this path together. Maybe not all of us knowing what we were upholding and what we were representing or what the lineage we were carrying. But in that essence, while we were walking hands, whether we wanted to touch each other or not, we still did it. Whether we pushed each other the day before and hugged each other the day after, we still did it. And so when I found trans community, I found a community that I was tugging and warring with, but I found a family at the same time, and I think that's what makes family. Sometimes you fight against each other, but you will fight with each other, and that's what it was like for me. And not everything is a fight, but sometimes this lifestyle does come with a struggle, and I've been able to lend the limited amount of resources that I had to these girls, and vice versa. Like this hair is courtesy of my sister. It's the girls who show up for me. No kai. It's the girls who show up with me and oftentimes remind me, get up and let's go. Let's get up and go. Being a councilwoman and being an ambassador for this district, I feel validated. I feel valued. I feel like I'm not a mistake. Because oftentimes you can feel like that walking this life. And I feel like my mom made it. And I'm only scratching the surface. And people say if you die tomorrow, I don't know if people say that, because our queens live forever. I have no regrets. You can't nobody take that away from me.